Welcome to another episode of Inside Saginaw Podcast. I'm Pedro Zambrano, Director of Economic and Community Engagement. And today we have two special guests here for us. We have Wes Horton and Jared Kersey. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us on our episode of Inside Saginaw Podcast.
Good morning.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, actually, Jared, we'll start with you. What do you do for the city?
Like Pedro said, my name is Jared Kersey. I'm the Assistant Public Works Director here at Saginaw.
Yeah, and how long you been here in Saginaw?
I've been here 27 years.
Were you always the Assistant Public?
I was not.
Works?
So I graduated from Boswell High School in 1997, and that summer I started as a summer intern, seasonal help at Public Works. Ended up working 3 summers part-time and then was asked to come on full-time. And so I started in the Streets and Parks Department and then transferred over to the Water Department, was the meter reader, and have just worked my way up from there.
Meter reader. So did you actually go to each meter and like open it up and wrote it down? Or?
In those days when I first started, yes, you had to write each one down. And then we went to remote read shortly after that, which was amazing.
Okay, very nice. I'll ask more about that in a bit. How about you, Wes? How'd you end up in Saginaw?
Well, I ended up in Saginaw many years ago. I went to Boswell High School, started work in Public Works here back in 2001. Worked for about a year and a half, transferred to water and was a meter reader. Did them all by hand like Jared back in that day. I left, went to work in another public service area of a city, in another city, and then I came back to Saginaw 4 years ago. And now I'm the customer service manager and also manage our system water meters.
Oh, very nice. So water meters, we just talked about them briefly. What do you mean by remote? Can you access them right now from this room, or how did that transition happen?
Wes, I'll let you talk.
Okay. Yeah. So actually, the majority, just shy of 100, remain that are not cellular. Everything in our system now is cellular, to where I can pull up the address and see recent water consumption, and the customer can too. They can download an app and monitor their own water usage and keep track of billing and all those kinds of things.
That's very good. That, like, for example, if I live in Saginaw, I have a water bill, I can see if there's a leak. So I actually had a leak in my house, and it ended up being the toilet seal. So we had to go buy, I think it was like a $10 seal at Home Depot.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
And that's the number one. So I'm going to give a tidbit. So if you actually think you have a leak back at home, grab some Kool-Aid packets at Walmart, put it in the tank, and just wait for like 10 minutes. And that's how I found out. Yeah. So sorry, I just went on a tangent on this is my show, so I could do that.
Yes.
Exactly. Yes.
No, but thank you so much for letting us know. And I see you guys drive up and down because that's how you get reader meetings as well, correct?
We do have a small number that are mobile readings. They're radio frequency, so you have to drive by close to them and get the readings that way once a month. But we're in the final stages of changing all those out to where the whole city will be cellular.
Very nice. All right, so West, we have a lot of residents here in Saginaw, and as you can tell, news stories about around the state, the water conservation is very important. Do we have any water restrictions for residents right now?
We do, and this is a question that I get very frequently. So for residents of Saginaw, residential homes, you can use your irrigation system. If you're an even-numbered house, then you can use your irrigation system Wednesdays and Saturdays. If you are a odd-numbered house, then you can use irrigation Thursdays and Sundays. And the time frame there is you can't water between 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. During those days. For like commercial locations, apartment complexes, public areas, things like that, then you can water on Tuesdays and Fridays between those in the proper hours, not between 10 and 6. And there's no watering allowed at all on Mondays.
Oh, okay. So when you mean odd and even, are we talking about the last number of my
Correct.
address?
Yes. So if your address is 220, for instance, then you would water on Wednesdays and Saturdays.
If it's 3719, the 9 makes it a odd.
Yeah, if you're on the
Okay.
same street because your street address ends in an odd number, then your watering days would be different than that of your even numbered.
So essentially, if my neighbor across the street's watering, I shouldn't water.
Yes,
Yeah.
pretty much, yes.
What's hand watering? Because that's what I saw in the water conservation.
Right. So the way we would look at that is if somebody has a water hose and they're watering their yard by hand, they're watering a dead spot in the yard, or they're watering flowers, or they have a garden or something like that, then that would constitute the hand watering. But anything like drip lines, soaker hoses, those fall into that hand watering category
okay.
as well. Just if you have an in-ground irrigation system is where these restrictions would apply.
Yeah. And those also make sure residents make sure your irrigation system's up to date as well, because that's also another right behind toilets. That's the next one that causes your water.
Yeah, there could be a leaky head or something that is running down the block, and if you have a broken sprinkler head, then that could also be seen as an issue with the restrictions.
And then your water bill would be really high.
Yes, yeah, yeah, absolutely. But if you have the app with our Eye on Water app that through the cellular meters, then you can monitor your water usage. You can see that your irrigation system is functioning correctly, and you can, like for instance, I live in the city, so I know I only want to use X amount of gallons when I run my sprinkler system, and I use that app to ensure that I'm not over watering and able to stay in budget.
Oh, that's cool. And then we'll put a link down below in the video so people can see that, and then it will be on our show notes as well. So that's the current restrictions or conservation measures that we take in the city.
Yes.
Jared, is there anything coming up that's different?
As a matter of fact, there is. So we are water customers of the city of Fort Worth, so we purchase all our water from them. Due to the contract we have with them, anything that Fort Worth amends on their ordinances, we have to adopt and adhere to. And so they recently just adopted an ordinance. Now, it will keep the same water restrictions that Wes just spoke of. None of that changes. What they did put into their new ordinance is an enforcement process, because they have been seeing huge numbers of people not following the water restriction process, and they really didn't have a way to enforce that. So they have added that. So since Fort Worth has implemented that, any wholesale water customer of Fort Worth, and there are several municipalities in the area, it's not just Saginaw, that purchase water from Fort Worth, we're having to adopt a new ordinance and enforcement process. So that will be going to an effect this week. We do plan on sending out as much education and literature to inform the public of what's fixing to take place with that.
And that's why you're here.
And that's
to
why we're
educate
here.
the public.
Yes, it is. Yeah. So, and once again, just to touch again, the actual water restrictions that we have in place, that's not changing. It's just an enforcement process on that. One exemption to the water restrictions, let's say if someone has a brand newly laid sod in their yard, they are allowed to water on their non-designated days if they need to. So
would I have to call you or the water department to let you know, hey, I have a new sod. So if you do drive by my house, don't give me a ticket, or would it be a ticket?
It would not be a ticket. We definitely, our main goal always is to, stop, make contact. If we see somebody not following, the ordinance per se, we always stop, make contact, try to inform and educate. That's the first step. And more often than not, it's just a lack of knowledge in some areas, right? So as much as we can get this out there to the public, it really makes things a lot easier. And the ultimate goal, and this is what City of Fort Worth looks at, is we just want voluntary compliance to this. We don't want to have to enforce anything, and the more we can educate on these restrictions and conservation in general, how important it is to everything, it makes things a lot easier.
No, it's very important. We have a lot of people love to be and want to become Texans, so they move to DFW. And
Yes.
that's key to protecting our water sources. Well, Jared, Wes, thank you so much for coming out and educating us about those new enforcement measures that are coming up. And again, this is from Fort Worth. Since we buy our water from Fort Worth, that's where it's coming from. Usually at the end of the podcast, we like to give you guys some time to just talk about some upcoming things that are happening, some inside information per se. That's why the name of the podcast is called Inside Saginaw. So do y'all have anything?
Yeah, sure. So we are fixing to start the remodel process of the Keeter building, which is where the library was, right next to City Hall.
Next to City Hall, yeah.
So that process should be starting soon, building several offices inside there to move certain departments in. That way we're all located centrally in one location here in the city.
So which departments will we move in there? I'm assuming yours?
There will be some Public Works Administration, building department, communications, and IT.
Also, like the permits department as well?
Yes.
Oh, that's very nice. Because right now they're currently at the depot.
Yes.
So it'll be a very centralized location. That's
Yes.
very exciting.
Yes.
Trying to keep everybody on McElroy so we can make sure we don't have to send. Because we get people come to City Hall and we have to say, oh, no, Public Works is over there or Planning and Zoning's over there. Permits is over there. But it's good to have everybody centralized. Yeah. Well, that's exciting. Do you know how many days is going to take to...
It's projected to be about a 9-month project.
Okay.
So
very exciting. Yeah. No, but I appreciate both of y'all for coming out and joining us on this podcast. And thank y'all, the audience, for watching/listening to the podcast. If you want to know more inside information of our city, you could go to our city website and check out our newsletter, Inside Saginaw Newsletter. And we're going to have a nice fancy graphic going there. And just also follow us on social media and be sure to keep listening to Inside Saginaw Podcast. Thank you so much. Have a good one.